Okay, mate. So, BTC here, market review. Did I not do one yesterday? I forget. Um, so we do have this trend line, right? And it's an important one, very important one. It runs back here from 2017. You can see touch here, runs right through to the bear market in 2018. Touch here. Yeah, in here. I should make this one a different color just for now. So this white one, yeah, here, and then we broke down through it here, the bear flag underneath it, and then obviously, you know, that trend line didn't really impact. Well, here we can back up into it here, but it still runs right through. You can see it touches perfectly on here and perfectly on there. So it's a very, very important trend line that has lasted now since 2017, almost 5 years. So very important one. Now I just want to point this out. A long time ago, probably before you were in the group, I had this trend line running through here, and if you break it down to the smaller time frames, in this you can see it was a very important pivot here before we broke out and went parabolic. Right, that's the just before we went parabolic. On the smaller time frames, it touches right in through here. And in here you can see the rejection here. This is a 3-day chart, but if I break it down to smaller time frames, you can see that, and all through here, resistance all here, support here, sorry, and then we broke down, and then it became it was still support here again, and when we broke that, it broke through. Now once we've obviously flushed that level, we came back into it here, and it was still acting as resistance. Even when we came back up into it, here was resistance, and then later on you can see where we came back and back tested back in the the coronavirus crash. So I just want to give the importance, you know, that these long-term trend lines, the important trend lines, can be extremely important way into the future. Now I remember I put a name on this one, the trend line of death. And then because we ended up breaking down and crashing through it, and we came back up into it. But we also had this one runs right through here and all through here, and supported Bitcoin all the way through here and the entire way up into that bull market. You know, so this trend line here supported the entire market the whole way into the bull market. Of course, we flushed it here, but once we recaptured it there, it went through. Now, why am I talking about that? Well, I'm talking about it because of the importance of trend lines and longer term trend lines that sometimes people forget about. So you can see that this trend line right here, and even this one right here, it was very important. Now I'm saying that because I want to put the emphasis on this, and we all know this anyway. It's not that this is anything different, but I want to put this emphasis on this orange line. You know, the market is still considered bullish above this line, you know, until we do break that. In theory, because we are getting supported by a major trend line, just like these trend lines. And just like you could consider the market still in a bearish consolidation mode below this. We could change that color as well, just to below this green line here. The market was still, in theory, still considered to be inside the bearish choppy action until we had a breakout of the trend line. And when we had a breakout of the trend line, I mean, that's when we went into a bull market. So again, we do have some very important trend lines here. This runs right through the neckline. It's not people's typical trend line, but it's very important, and lots of touches in through here. A touch here, obviously resistance here. When we broke down that, we couldn't recapture it, and then here. So we kind of are in stalemate at the moment. Like we're dead center of this this apex, this triangular pattern that I drew. But even if I didn't draw that, this is a very important trend line, because you can see the touch here in this bull market, and then we broke down from it. We retested, failed, came back down, came back up, retested right here, eventually broke through, came back, retested, then that pivot in here, retested it, obviously retested here, broke down. It was kind of resistance all around here, chopping through it, resistance here until we broke out, came back, and now we're just retesting the underside of it, which kind of tells us that we're, you know, in a way in no man's land, still in the middle of the chop, slightly underneath this resistance point. Well, actually, when I go into the sorry, let's just go back out there. Do we have two lines there or one line? We've only got one line, I think. I want to make sure. Yeah, I've only one line there. I was getting confused there. So the, as you can see right here now, I'm just going to put this white line on this this chart here. Let's put a red line on it actually. When you can see the rejection point yesterday, and no surprise, it bounced off the most important level on the chart. Well, I mean, the opening price is the most important level on the chart. Of course, there is many opens. There's the daily open, the 3-day open, the 2-week open, the weekly open, the monthly open. But you know, relative to the time frame you're looking at or trading, there's obviously different levels all over the chart. But the 2-week open, you can see right here, rejected the price, and that's important because it is showing it's being and acting as resistance at this point in time. There's only 3 days left in this 2-week candle. Now, this is a pretty decent showing from the bulls, you know, to be honest, to give them a bit of credit. Are we going to flip green on the week or not? I'm not too sure. I don't really think it matters at this point if we flip green or not, because we are running out of time. We have only 3 days left, and it's unlikely to get a significant move to the upside. Like, we're not going to pop up here and create a bullish engulfing candle or anything significant. So at this point, if we flip green or not is probably insignificant in my eyes, because it is too late in the candle. Now, what we need to be careful of this in this setup is something like last time when we actually flipped red on a new week, and we've done it twice. See this large wick here, and then the large wick here. Both times we opened up and dropped down to take liquidity down below. So we need to be careful and aware that on a new 2-week candle, if we flip red, we need to be careful in case we drop down and start taking liquidity below and filling out that range even more. We are in choppy environment because the monthly is red at this point, the 3 month is red at this point, the 6 month is red at this point, the yearly is red at this point, and that indicates bearish chop at this point in time. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we do come down, but you know, we need to be reactive in this situation, and you know, if because of this wick, you know, there is the chance that we are going to pop up on a new 2-week, and you know, and the bulls are going to continue their showing of strength and move up into the top of the range. So we need to be, you know, if we get a small dip and then flip green, we need to take that bias and flip it bullish. You know, but as long as we are red there, we need to be careful in case this continues to the downside, just like it did in the past. Now, as I mentioned in the chat, okay, so here we are. So you can see we're just basically sitting right on the midpoint on that green line that I drew that was very important the whole way through this range. Now, as I mentioned in the chat, well, we can be considered bullish above this range, above this line. Let's just change the color. I'll change this to white, make it a bit thicker, just so it is a very important line. Now, above this, we can be considered bullish. All right, and price is holding up very well. So at this point, right, if I take this away, you can see that we are kind of compressing here on the. I'll just do this for a second. You can see we're just kind of compressing in here, and this is usually a bullish pattern, kind of implying that we are going to flip green at some point and going to bounce up into, is it going to be next week or is it going to be this week? It's compressing and there's 3 days left, so it kind of is implying that there definitely can be more upside. Now you can see when we compressed in here before, even though the purple is way above on this one, but this was you know, these were, the moving averages were compressed here as well, but you can see the similar situation here when we did compress, when we popped up. Now this was also a deviation below the low. We have a deviation below the low here, popping up, compressing, popping up, compressing. You know, so it is, if we pop up here like last time, there is a very good chance that this can be bullish and get some continuation to the upside. As we know here, now just like before, Bitcoin is bullish above this point. This point is right here, this green line right here. Just like it was bullish last time above this point. So Bitcoin is technically bullish here, and Bitcoin should in theory go higher. There's always the chance of getting rejection, but this is a bullish setup at this point, attempting to go higher, just like it did here. Of course, any move in the market can fail, but at this point, if we zoom out here, you know, the market is trying to, it's not going to flip green. There's 9 days left. You know, it can have a little bit of an up move, but it's on a new month that is really going to matter. There's not unlikely going to be too much happening this month. You know, we can have a small up move, which is kind of solidifying the bulls. Now, if we open up on a new month, just like here, just like this setup right here, we need to be prepared on a new month that Bitcoin can actually pop up very strongly. If price continues to hold up some strength here and moves up a little bit higher. If we roll over into the end of the month, well, this bullish move is off the cards. But if we hold strong here, next month there's a chance of a big explosive move back to the upside.